girl who never loses the sense of mind was a poor painter from California. She was a good friend of Jonesy. She has one chance in, let's say, 10, he said. The doctor asked about something that made Jonesy so pessimistic at the moment and say, a man, for instance. With the truth hard in twang in her voice, Sue denied it. She knows Jonesy a lot. She knows about her desire for art. Her dreams is to paint the Bay of Naples. She was confused at the time. After ending the conversations, Sue went into the workroom and cried. The feelings of losing her friend were wrapping around her. This showed the love for Jonesy was as long as the sea. Then she waggled into Jonesy's room with her roaring ball, whistling ragtime. She acted like everything fine in order not to make Jonesy worry to face in life. After seeing Jonesy counting bliss, she complained with magnificent scorn. Don't be so goosey. Why the doctor why the doctor told me this morning that your chances for getting well real soon was, let's see, uh, exactly what he said. He said the chances were 10 to 1. Obviously, she was lying. She wanted to cheer her up after witnessing the pessimistic act of Jonesy. She's a good friend, a kind person. She had to say Jonesy's mind, even by lying. That's almost as good a chance as we have in New York when we ride on the streets, cars, and walk past a new building. Try to take some broth now and let Susie go back to her rowing so she can sell anec- the anecdote with it and buy pork wine for her sick child and pork chop for her greedy self. She Sue imagined what they could do after Jonesy getting well. Sue was a competent person, always be positive in life and caring for others. Also, she a right person, willing to against the fearful fate for deciding the rightful future. She asking Pullman for help. She very ill and weak, said Sue, and the fever have left her mind morbid and full of strange fancy. Very well, Mr. Pullman, if you don't care to pray for me, you needn't. But I think you are Horace or Pivot. You are just like a woman. Pullman is right. She was happy to see the light leaf leaning on the wall. As last, she told Johnson about Pullman's work and admired for his masterpiece. In conclusion, she was the best friend of Johnson that she ever had. She always take good care of her, stand by her side till the remainder of days. She's just like a symbol of pure friendship, courage, love, and brave.
Hello everyone, my name is Hun Minh, and today, on behalf of Group 2, I will talk about the psychological development of the character Jonesy. So let's take a look about her background. Jonesy, or Joanna, is an artist from California. She described as a mite of a woman with blood thinned by California zephyrs. She had a friend named Sue. They had met at the table hotel of an A Street called Demonico and had their studio at the top of swarthy three-story brick at Greenwich Village. She had pneumonia in a cold November, and at the beginning of the story, we see her staring at the ivy vine all day, while scarcely moving on her bed. She started to count the leaves on the old ivy vine 3 days ago. It were almost 100 back then, but now it only have a less than dozen left. Jonesy expected that when the last leaf falls, she will die too. As he said, when the last leaf falls, I must go too. I have known that for 3 days. It points to us that having pneumonia really makes Jonesy tired, depressed, and pessimistic about her future. She used to dream about painting the Bay of Naples, but now all she does is counting leaves and waiting for her death. Despite her friend Sue being supportive, Chauncey still desperate and waiting nothing else apart death. In her conversation with Sue, we can see, you needn't get any more wine. No, I don't want any broth. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. Then I will go too, she said. From that we can see, it was the disease that forced her to give up on her life. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of thinking. I want to turn loose my hold on everything and go sailing down, down, just like one of those poor, tired leaves. The next morning, she ordered Sue to pull up the green shade, but to their surprise, there's still one left leaf left on the ivy vine. Regardless of that, Jonesy's sure it will fall today and her life will come with it. I heard the wind. It will fall today, and I shall die at the same time, she said. Although knowing that, her thought it broken Sue's heart. Jonesy already had entrusted her life to that fancy of her, the last leaf. As the writer said, the fancy seemed to possess her more strongly, as one by one the ties that bound her to friendship and to earth were loosed. Another day had passed. The merciless Jonesy commanded that the shade be raised, but the ivy leaf was still there. While she lay for a long time looking at it, Jonesy had realized how wicked she was to herself and to Sue. I have been a bad girl, Sudie. Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me how weak I was. It is a sin to want to die, she said. She then started to return to her normal self. That she said, you may bring me a little broth now, and some milk with it, and a little port in it. And no, bring me a hand mirror first. Sudie, someday I hope to paint the Bay of Naples. And it was the last leaf that bring her hope back. It made her forget about the fancy and the pneumonia that she had. She is now wanting to live, to eat, to drink, to make up, and to follow her dream again.
I intend to analyze the character Mr. Berman. First up on is Berman's personal background. Old Berman was a painter who lived on the ground floor beneath them, beneath Shoes and Chauncey. He has been painting for 4 decades without any commercial success, but still hopes to paint what he calls his masterpiece. Okay, here we come to psychology development. The first day, in the beginning, as usual, as an unfamous artist, he makes very little money. Badly, he is an alcoholic. He is always about to do something, but never quite gets done. For instance, Berman was a failure in art. For several years, he had painted nothing except now and then a doubt in the line of commerce or advertising. He earned a little by serving as a model to those young artists in the colony who couldn't pay the price of a professional. He has been always about to paint a masterpiece, but had never yet begun it. He drank gin to excess and still talked of his coming masterpiece. He's truly a poor and pitiful painter. On his life making art was still not enough to pay for his life. The author shows directly that Mr. Berman's personality maybe not care about anyone other than himself. For the rest, he was a free little old man, whose sculpted reply astounded in anyone. He's aggressive towards everyone, but just the opposite for Shu and Chauncey. He has a soft spot on them. He tries to protect them. Kingsborn, and who regarded himself as a special master in waiting to protect the two young artists in the studio above. The second stage, when he heard about Chauncey's health condition, Sue told him of Chauncey's fancy and how she feared she would, indeed, light and fragile as a leaf herself, last away when her slight hold upon the world grew quicker. Old Berman, with his red eyes plainly streaming, shouted his contempt and derision for such idiotic imaginings. He initially rejects the idea that the list on the vine might have something to do with Chauncey's health. With his contempt and derision for such idiotic imaginings, however, it rocks his heart to hear that. Vast, he cried, is there people in the wood meet there from foolishness to die because leaves straight drop off from a confounded vine? I have not heard of such a thing. Deep in his heart, with an ardent heart, he always wants to protect them. The saying predicts that the Burman will are. God, there's not any place in which one so good as Miss Johnson sounds like shit. Someday I will paint a masterpiece and we shall all go away. God, yes. He's very worried about Sue and can't wait to do something to help her. The last day, in the end, he shows his true personality by painting the last leaf in the world. He goes outside on a cold and rainy night to paint a realistic looking leaf onto the wall outside her window, so that she will think one last leaf had miraculously survived the storm. And as a result, he himself gets the pneumonia and dies. But he didn't let Chauncey to die, so in the end, he finally drew his masterpiece. Through the doctor's talk. And now I must say another case I have downstairs. Behrman. His name, some kind of artist, I believe, pneumonia too. He's an old Quickman, and the actor is killed. There is no hope for him, but he goes to the hospital today to be made more comfortable. Art for him is true art towards people. He's a representative of true artists who dedicate their whole life to art. And the fact is revealed at the end, which should tell Johnson about the last leaf, is actually a Burman painting. The janitor found him the morning of the first day in his room downstairs, helpless with pain. His shoes and clothing were wet through the icy cold. They couldn't imagine where he has been on such a dreadful night, and then they found a lantern, still lighted, and a ladder that has been dragged from its place, and some scattered brush and a palette with green and yellow colors made on it. And look out the window, dear, at the last ivy leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it's never blustered or moved when the wind blew? Ah, darling, it's Burman masterpiece. He painted there the night that the last leaf fell. The old man used his light to extend the life of a young girl. The masterpiece, the last leaf, saved Johnsy's life, but also took his life. She called the painting a masterpiece not only because it was so beautiful, so real, but also because it carried Burman's humanity. With the character Mr. Burman, O.Henry is showing the sacrificing nature of a man, and it gives us a message that self-sacrificing is a rich deed and one has to kind and gentle towards others.